Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today we're finally doing the predictions for UFC 321, Aspinall versus Gane. This video was supposed to come out like on Tuesday, but I managed my time so poorly this week, so it's coming out now. Let's start off with the first fight on the card, guys. Jaqueline Amorim versus Mizuki. I'm gonna pick Jaqueline Amorim. Mizuki hasn't had a fight since 2023. And I've seen clips of her training recently. She looks decent technique-wise. She looks pretty good, actually. But we've seen what happens to these fighters that take long breaks, come back, don't have the gas tank to pull through all 3 rounds. And I feel like this is probably going to be a decision situation. So I just don't know that Mizuki will last, honestly. And based off of last week, I'm a little bit traumatized. So I'm going to pick Jaqueline Amorim. It just makes way more sense. Let's move on to the next one, guys. Azat Maksum versus Mitch Raposo. I think the odds for this fight are so whack. Because I feel like this is more of a 50-50 situation. I don't know. Mitch Raposo claims to have gotten much better. He said that he had an excellent training camp. That being said, we can't ever really trust what Mitch Raposo says because he likes to talk a lot. I've noticed this before. Talks, does not deliver. He says he severely underperformed against Sumadarji, so I think we are going to see a better version of him this time around. But at the same time, I've also been peeping with the, like, Russian, Tajik, Kazakh, that community, because I think it's Kazakhstan. That community has to say about Azat Maksum, and they really believe in him. They also feel like he got robbed against Ulanbekov in the previous fight. And, yeah, everyone thinks he's going to come back hungrier this time around to kind of redo that situation. So I'm going to go with Azat Maksum, yeah. Because another thing, too, about Mitch Raposo is the fight IQ. That's something you can't really work on, can you? I mean, I guess you could, but that's the one thing that, like, I don't think Mitch Raposo really truly understands what he needs to understand in there, you know what I mean? Too much talk, not enough walk. Anyway, let's move on to the next one, guys. Hamdy Abdelwahab versus Chris Barnett. I'm going with Hamdy Abdelwahab. Guys, Chris Barnett has been on the high fructose corn syrup. I'm telling you guys, look at his fucking UFC picture. I'm going to pop it in right here. Like the one that the UFC posted on their website. I feel like Hamdy is going to KO this guy. He's got the high fructose eyes, the high fructose corn syrup eyes. You guys will know exactly what I mean by looking at the photo. Dang, high fructose corn syrup got him. Something I'll tell you guys, when I was in America, they put high fructose corn syrup in everything. I'm talking about like the ketchup, okay, juice, simple things. I don't know, I guess that mean ketchup. I feel like everyone else is using sugar, you know, or just regular corn syrup. Nah, in America they use the high fructose corn syrup stuff. Not all the brands, of course, but a lot of them. So I wouldn't be surprised, you know. That shit actually makes you dumb. Anyways, before we move on, I also wanted to say that Chris Barnett got injured in his last fight just by jumping. Like, I think he's getting old, he's getting fat, he's getting weak, and he also, like, almost injured his joint when throwing a leg kick. I just don't think, I feel pretty confident about Hamdy winning this fight. Anyways, let's move on to the next one. Nathaniel Wood versus Jose Miguel Delgado. I'm going with Jose Miguel Delgado, guys. Nathaniel Wood has been saying that he would have preferred to fight someone like Josh Emmett or Patricio Pitbull because they're apparently higher in the rankings. But I also feel like they're much less of a... Of course, higher up in the rankings means like you're taking a risk for a greater reward, but I also feel like Jose Miguel Delgado is going to be more dangerous for him than those other guys, because I feel like Delgado really approaches his fights like an art. He just looks so smooth and aligned when he fights. I don't know how to explain it, but Nathaniel Wood has more of this like step-by-step technical type of approach, which is also effective and good, but I just feel like Nathaniel Wood won't be able to match Jose Miguel Delgado's flow here. I feel like he has gaps in his timing, and this is like exactly the issue that is going to be exploited here, I feel. So I'm actually picking Jose Delgado by KO, because I feel like he's going to get his moment here. He's going to get his moment where Nathaniel Wood's going to be like thinking about what to do next, and Jose's already going to be in his flow. So we're picking Jose. Solid pick. Let's move to the next one. Valter Walker versus Louis Sutherland. Louis Sutherland? Louis? How do you pronounce it? Louis Sutherland? All I have to say is rip. Rip Sutherland. He almost had a debut against Justin Tafa, but now he has to fight Valter Walker. Tough luck. Tough luck. I'm going with Valter Walker, of course. Sutherland is just not in shape. Not in shape for this matchup. Even his UFC photo looks like he's already, you know, terrified, but I guess he had to take this fight. I feel like UFC is like, well, we couldn't give you Justin Tafa, but how about Valter Walker? That's your only other choice. Yeah, this is a huge jump up in competition for Sutherland. I feel like everybody knows it too. Like, I'm taking Valter Walker by first round sub, first round heel hook. Let's go. But no, for real. Like, like Sutherland does not look good. He does not look good. He looks a little bit petrified, not gonna lie, in his UFC photo. So we're just gonna like hope for the best there and move on to the next one. Okay, Abdul Kareem Selwady versus Matheus Camilo. I was thinking about this one actually. I almost picked Matheus, and then I realized that no, I'm actually going with Abdul Kareem because I just feel like Camilo is too young for this mission. He's 24. Abdul is 30. Also, Abdul looks like life made him bitter. And I like that for him as a fighter. It means he's going to fight with passion and intensity. That's what I've seen from his fights before, too. Is that he really looks upset about life. And even if you look at the way he stands, too, it's just, like, all ego. Like, it's just his chest puffed up. You know? Lots of insecurity, lots of ego. That's going to be enough, I think, to defeat a young Matheus. My young, technical Matheus Camilo. I just feel like we're gonna experience boy versus man energy, or at least, like, you know, like, angry, bitter, older brother energy. Like the older brother that just never got anything growing up, and now he's upset. Anyways, we're going with Abdul Kareem Selwady. Let's move on to the next one. Ludovit Klein versus Mateusz Rebecki. I'm going with Ludovit Klein, guys. I actually really like Ludovit Klein. And unfortunately for Mateusz Rebecki is he loses against these technical fighters. Again and again. He does it every time. It just seems like there's... Like, Mateusz Rebecki is a really solid tank. He can take a lot of damage and he can overpower you if you are kind of playing his game. But I feel like Ludovit Klein is just really solid on the feet. I am a little bit worried for Ludovit Klein if he gets taken down, because he did get really cooked by Gamrot, but I feel like this is also going to be a different situation. Mateusz Rebecki doesn't really take anyone down. So I do think this fight's going to be mostly on the feet, and Ludovit Klein is just better. He has excellent kicks. Excellent kicks. He can keep the fight at a distance and win by points, I think. I think he takes a decision. Okay, let's move on to the next one, guys. Ikram Aliskerov versus Junyong Park. I'm going with Ikram Aliskerov. I think he can do everything that Park can do, but better. Like, their fighting styles I actually feel are pretty similar, but I just, yeah, feel like Aliskerov is just better. Also, I've seen Park in positions on the ground that looked bad, where he had no answers. I actually think this is why he lost some fights, where he just, like, hung around in defense mode for too long, and sometimes they'll just score. If it's a close fight and you are in a defensive position, like, you just kind of don't, you just end up losing the decision. Also, last thing I want to note is that both of them fought Andre Muniz. Aliskerov knocked him out in round 1, okay, and Junyong Park lost by a split decision. So, I feel like, you know, that's everything you need to know about that one. Let's move on to the next one. Nasrat Haqparast versus Quillian Salkilled. I want to go for Nasrat Haqparast, honestly. They're both very technical, but I feel like Haqparast has actually been making the improvements that I want to see in a fighter. He looked really good in his last fight against Esteban Ribovics, where everybody was picking against him, I'm pretty sure, actually. And I think he's stepping into his prime. And I don't want to pick against a Nasrat Haqparast who's stepping into his prime right now. It just feels silly. I also, again, feel like Quillian Salkilled a little bit too young for this matchup. Just a little bit, especially with the improvements that I've been seeing from Nasrat Haqparast. So I just feel like the winning potential is way more on Haqparast's side right now. So going with Nasrat Haqparast, I think it's a solid pick. Let's move on to the next one, guys. Alexander Rakic versus Azamat Murzakanov. I'm going with Azamat Murzakanov. I think his style is great for this matchup. Murzakanov just figures you out. He figures you out and he wins the match. Done. I think he has amazing fight IQ. There's a reason his nickname is the Professional. I can see him knocking out Rakic 100%. Because Azamat Murzakanov is one of these fighters that just like slowly locks in, slowly realizes where your weaknesses are, and just exploits that. So I see him doing that with Rakic. Rakic is pretty good technically, but I feel like he's missing that sort of adaptation that Azamat Murzakanov has and is good at. So going with Azamat Murzakanov, guys. Let's move on to the next one, guys. Alexander Volkov versus Jailton Almeida. No! No! Alexander Volkov is gonna get cooked, guys. I'm sorry. I don't want it to happen too. I'm worried. I'm worried for Alexander Volkov. I don't think he has enough ground ability to win this fight. We've seen him get cooked before. We've seen him look like a victim on the ground before. Especially against Tom Aspinall. Like, man, I just feel like his body is not conditioned enough for this. At all. At all. He's very stiff, to be honest. Like, very heavy. Like, he hasn't learned, it doesn't seem like he's learned how to use his body effectively on the ground yet. And he's facing a Jailton Almeida who has 13 submission finishes, who's also clearly more agile, clearly more conditioned for this. Yeah, I would say on the feet, sure, Volkov has advantages, but again, Jailton is pretty well-rounded, and he's going to take us to the ground 100%, and I worry for Volkov. I really do. So yeah, let's move on to the next one, guys. Umar Nurmagomedov versus Mario Bautista. Guys, Umar is really good, actually. Umar is really good. Too good for Mario Bautista, I'm afraid. I rewatched his fight with Sandhagen, and oh my god, he's like a sticky little spider. So creative on the ground, just wraps. I don't understand what is even going on in there. Like, I'm watching his limbs move, and he's like already, he's just, I don't know how to explain, guys. You see I'm struggling, I'm choking, it's tripping over my words. But you guys understand what I'm talking about. You have seen the magic. I just feel like there's levels to this, you know? I feel like there's levels to this. Also, Mario Bautista recently took Patchy Mix to a decision, and I feel like Umar would have actually finished him in the first round. How are you taking Patchy Mix to a decision, brother? I don't know, man. I don't know. Anyways, as I said, there's levels to this. Clearly, I feel like you can just see it. Look at how Umar trains. Look at his last fights. Look at Mario Bautista. Obviously, Mario Bautista is really good, but again, levels. Levels to this. So let's move on to the next one, guys. Virna Jandiroba versus Mackenzie Dern. I'm going with Virna Jandiroba, guys. If you've been on this channel for long enough, you'll know that I have been a non-believer in Mackenzie Dern since the beginning. And that's because she always kind of disappoints. And I think it's just like the fight IQ situation. For me, she's a little bit frustrating to watch. She has gotten better though over the last couple years, so I'll give her that. But Jandiroba's gotten better too. I feel like in their first fight, there were moments where I think there was like a lack of experience or awareness in a way on Virna Jandiroba's side, where she was kind of falling for more of these flashy Dern attacks. Whereas now when I watch her fight, she has much more control over herself and the overall situation, I feel. Also, Jandiroba just won against Yan Zhonan, who's a flashy fighter, and I think she does the flashy thing better than Mackenzie Dern. Also, almost subbed Yan Zhonan, you know, at the end of one of the rounds there. Another thing, Mackenzie Dern, her last fight was with Amanda Ribas, which was supposed to be her big win, but I feel like Amanda Ribas is just the most stiff fighter I've ever seen. So stiff, like no flexibility in the hips, very rigid, like easy to take down. And yeah, you know, she subbed her in the 3rd round, so yeah. But again, I just feel like Virna Jandiroba would have done better, you know. I feel like Virna Jandiroba is at a good place right now. Also, I just saw her in the press conference. She just looks like such a fucking G. She looks so cool. Another thing, Virna Jandiroba, she's got one eye looking at you, one eye looking for you. Are you gonna think you're gonna beat this on the ground? I don't know, man. I don't think so, Mackenzie Dern. I don't think so. I don't think this is your time. I always felt like Mackenzie Dern had a ceiling, and I feel like we're gonna see it here. Anyways, I don't know why I got so passionate about that there. But let's move on to the last one, guys. The main event. The one you've all been waiting for. Tom Aspinall versus Cyril Gane. I feel like guys, I feel like I can't not pick Tom Aspinall by 1st round finish. Cyril Gane is pretty good. He's pretty good. I just feel like Tom Aspinall wants it on a deeper level. You know what I mean? I feel like Cyril Gane might think he wants this, but I don't think he understands how much Tom Aspinall wants this. I'm just getting the sense that Tom is way more invested into this. Like, max level invested. Maximum. So, yeah, I guess we'll see. But, you know, again, it just feels right for Tom to win right now. I don't know how else to explain. Like, it feels right. You guys know what I mean. You guys know what I mean. It feels right for Tom to win. I just can't imagine that someone that's putting this much thought and dedication into their work can lose. Because I've been watching some of Tom Aspinall's videos and vlogs. I just feel like I'm not getting that same level of focus. I'm not sensing that same level of focus from Cyril Gane. So we're going with Tom Aspinall by 1st round finish. Yeah. That is all. That is all I have for you guys. I hope I didn't miss anything. If I did, do let me know. I'm excited. I wish I could have released this video earlier, really. I wish I could, but I think my picks overall are pretty good this week. I mean, I think a lot. I think there's some pretty easy ones to figure out, so not too many underdogs, not too many close fights, I think. So we'll see. Anyhow, guys, I'll see you on Friday for the weigh-in, for the final thoughts, and of course on Saturday. I am so excited. This is such a good card. This is such a good card. Let me know what fight you're looking forward to the most in the comments below. If you like this video and if you like the content that I make, let me know by hitting the like button, subscribing, and yeah. That's all. That's all. I'll see you guys soon. Enjoy your end of the week till tomorrow. Goodbye.